Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
A man and his wife moved back home to Wisconsin from Arizona. The wife had a wooden leg, and to insure it in Arizona was $2,000 a year. When they arrived in Wisconsin, they went to Sven's Insurance Agency to see how much it would cost to insure the wooden leg. Sven looked it up on his computer and said to the couple, $39. The husband was shocked and asked why it was so cheap in Wisconsin to insure, because it cost him $2,000 in Arizona. Sven turned to his computer screen and then looked at the couple and said, well, here it is on the screen, direct from Ole's Wisconsin Fire Insurance Company. It says any wooden structure with a sprinkler system over it is $39. I grew up in Wisconsin. That's Wisconsin logic. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, come on, smile. That's just life. Thank you, Kate. God bless everybody. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the best of tires and service, along with Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley. I love my pillow. I'll be telling you more about those memory foam pillows in just a little bit. And they're located at 459 Overland in Burley. And also our other, some of our other great sponsors include Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And right now we say good morning to the lovely, the gracious, and hopefully with a sense of humor, Gina.
Actually, I got a good giggle out of that one.
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing well for a Thursday. How are you?
I'm happy.
Victorious, as it were?
Yeah, I am happy. I could not be more elated than yesterday. And to those out in the audience that know me, I'm extremely competitive. I'm one of these kind of guys that I can't even find people to play pinochle with me because I just absolutely am too competitive. But yesterday I managed to walk over pretty close to about 100 feet altogether in distance on my crutches. And that, after 2 weeks from the surgery, is, according to the physical therapist and everything, outstanding. That's how I felt, and I mean that by the grace of God. And I was just really happy about it yesterday. And,
well, I'm very proud of you.
Well, thank you. You know, the biggest cheerleader I've got is my wonderful wife, and she was beaming like a Cheshire cat.
She needs to wear her cheerleader outfit on days like that.
I never thought of that.
She needs to wear her cheerleader outfit.
I agree with that.
Listening, wear your cheerleader, because I know she still fits into it.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Deanne, keep that on hand so you can be Zeb's personal cheerleader.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, and again, kudos to you. We made it through the whole week.
I know.
Wow.
I'm ecstatic about that.
Do we have a pledger?
We have Kilt Man on for the pledge and Mr. Michael Rogers on for the weather.
Well, for heaven's sakes, Kilt Man, good morning. Take it away, my friend.
Good morning. It's my honor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, man, I was kind of hoping you'd be running by sometime and say howdy, just like Minnie Pearl. Come on by and say hello sometime. I'd love to see you.
I will, my friend. Good to hear you're back on your feet.
Well, I'm not all the way, but I'll tell you what, anything's an improvement. I'm looking forward to the day, seriously, when that wheelchair gets pushed out of the house and there's nobody in it.
I understand. That's always a good feeling. So,
all right.
Good luck to you, and I pray for you and give you the best.
Hey, God bless you, my dear friend. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
Time for the weather. Here's MichaelRogersWeather.com.
And number 2 is current.
Hold on there.
I understand.
Number 2 is current temperature coming up in 3, 2, 1. About 22 degrees in Mersaw. Today versus yesterday, we're going to see a lot of clouds. And we're going to continue to see that. No precipitation. And you know I hate using that word. But no precipitation for at least the next 72 hours. It's going to be sunny on Sunday. But otherwise, cloudy for today. Temperatures are going to stay just like they were for like the last 72 hours. In the low to mid 40s and the 20s for the overnight. So, have a great day. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. And by the way, I want to say this. That's what I love about live radio. Gina is absolutely a perfectionist, and I can see that she's mad right now and everything. Gina, hey, big deal. We had to tape Michael this morning because he was in a dead spot someplace, and so big deal. It just lightened up the morning.
Yeah, well, you know, it's all about the edits.
Well, don't worry about it, okay? All right. Hey, let's go sell some cattle, shall we?
We shall.
All right, it gets the steer calves here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.
That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with the big sale time today at 10 a.m. For more information, call 678-9411. Merv May and Lance Udy saying, come on down. We're going to have a ripping good sale today. Rick Robinson over to Oakley bringing in 80 head of 500-pound calves. Whitnall Ranches of American Falls, 110 head of calves coming down. Ted Tracy up at Elmo. Hello, Ted. How you doing? 80 head of 650 to 700 pounders coming in. Jack Brown out of Tremont. I know that guy. Good cattle, semi-load of mixed cows and yearlings. Skip Owens over to Glens Ferry. You better believe it. 35 head of yearlings. Southridge Dairy bringing in 90 head of butcher cows, along with Moo Mountain Dairy bringing in 50 head of butcher cows, and TLK Dairy out of Mountain Home, 30 head of butcher cows. Sale time at 10 o'clock this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Once again, for more information, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, it gets the steer calves here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3, 1.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and $7.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
Yeah, I tell you what, good morning and thanks. Merv, have a great sale today. Don't forget our dear friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Oh, my goodness, we look forward to working with them. You know, a little bit of nostalgia and thinking back. Keith, of course, one of the very, very first people I ever called to come on this program, and been here ever since. I just got a lot of thank yous to Ramsey Heating and Electric. They do a wonderful job. They've got all your electrical needs, whether it's heat lamps, extension cords, air furnace filters, whatever you need. They've been in business over 57 years serving you at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm not going to mince any words about this first story this morning. I am going to be extremely honest about how I feel. I think Reverend Jeremiah Wright, honestly, and for those out there that want to call me a racist, back up, think about it, be real careful. But Reverend Jeremiah Wright is a racist bigot that is doing nothing more than stirring the pot every time he gets to a podium to hurt white people, the white race, and condemn America. Now, you can say what you want, and you can come after me and call me a racist for saying that. But this man has been so racial. This man has been so divisive. This man has been so hurtful. This man absolutely needs to be called what he is, and that is a bigot and a racist. He did it again on Martin Luther King Day. He said that this just infuriates me, because I'm proud of many people across the United States that associate themselves with the Tea Party and the values of returning to our constitutional values as our leadership for this good country. But this man said it on Martin Luther King Day. He said that the modern day Tea Party is just a 2-point upgrade from a lynch mob. A 2-point upgrade from a lynch mob. This is incendiary. This is insane. This is absolutely being bigoted and hateful. And a white person, let's just tell it like it is, folks. Why hide behind words? You and I and any other person that might possibly have an opportunity to sit behind a microphone, whether on television or radio, could never say something like that about the NAACP and get away with it. Oh, you would see the off switch, the red light would go on, and you would not sit behind that microphone again. How does this man get away with being so hurtful and so divisive? This man is hate-consumed against whites. He is a black bigot racist. Let's be honest here. We don't need that kind of a person stirring up all the trouble. And you take good, solid men. Caller, I'm coming. Just a minute. Don't worry. You take good, solid men like Alan West and like Dr. Ben Carson. Good, thoughtful people. Oh, by the way, their skin texture also happens to be black. They have, and they should have, condemned Jeremiah Wright. This man is a condemnation to himself. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, I'm also kind of confused with it, Zeb. How do you call someone like that Reverend?
That's a good point.
These guys that have that surname of Reverend before that, and then they stir up trouble and lies and stuff like that. You know, that's just the opposite of what I was taught.
You know, Kiltman, the society today, and I get emails every day, somebody is offended at no matter what you do or say on this program regarding me, and I've developed a really thick skin about it, but I'm not going to ever run and hide from what the truth really is. And the truth is, had I got on the air and said something in reverse about the NAACP being 2-point upgrade from a lynch mob or whatever the case might be, can you imagine the condemnation and the outcry and the absolute abhorrent attitude that they would have had against me to get me thrown off the air?
Oh, big time, big time. You know, it's so one-sided. You know, freedom of speech is good as long as you agree with what I agree with, but if you don't, then you don't have freedom of speech.
Yeah. I just can't imagine how you can get by saying something like this, that the modern-day Tea Party is just a 2-point upgrade from a lynch mob. I mean, the incendiary words, the meaning of the words, the categorization of the words, the lumping together of everybody in the same kind of a heinous, murderous plot. Man, these kind of people, by the way, you take Al Sharpton, you take Jesse Jackson, you add Reverend Jeremiah Wright, and many others to the pot, they are nothing more than paid racists.
That's exactly right. And every one of those that you just mentioned have Reverend at their title.
Oh, gee, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, isn't that interesting how that goes? I got one more thing I'll throw at you that'll make you mad. My brother sent me a thing on Facebook with a sign out of, I believe it was North Dakota, that said, I would just as soon feed 1 million Muslims as one U.S. soldier. That's the freedoms we have.
Yeah. You know, I am so afraid, and I'm going to be talking in a little bit about another subject that I'm sure is going to wrinkle your fur, about the Pentagon relaxing rules on, letting like Muslims with their beards and their turbans and everything in our military. I don't know about you, Kiltman, but I'm sick of the relaxing. I'm sick of the squeaky wheels of minority turning everything upside down in a society that now has no more value to it. That's my feeling. Maybe you think I'm wrong.
Well, my thought is there's a reason there are rules, regulations, dress codes, what have you, in the Army. or any of the armed forces and stuff like that, okay? If you don't want to adhere to it, stay out, okay? This goes along, you can go along with the black, white, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There is a certain baseline you have to stick with. There's a certain, I'm trying to think of it, rigid control that you have to have, that everybody needs to toe a line. Because once you cross that line and start giving and giving and giving, like the Republicans, it'll keep taking and keep taking and keep taking until you've lost whatever you have.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, and we're kind of getting off subject here a little bit, but let's assume that a Christian was the one that said, no, I want to have a visible cross around my neck that is visible 24/7 regardless of the clothes I wear. And they approached the military heads and said, that's what we want, this is what we're demanding, and we want to get it. Do you think for 1 minute the military, the United States military, would have changed their program and written up new excerpts on what's acceptable and what's not for them? No, but they will for the adamancy of what the militant Muslims and everyone else wants.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Well, you look at it, what was it, about 2 years ago? What have they been doing in the military? They have been going after the Christians. They have been shutting them down as far as prayer, as far as everything else that they need to do. But they open the door for everybody else.
Yeah, tell me one thing and explain this to me. What can you, as a man of the cloth in the military, what can you do, what can you say, what can you preach, what can you do to possibly proselytize to get people to come to Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior? You tell me what you can do. You have your hands tied behind you.
You do. You do. And the thing is for years and years and years, for centuries, we've had chaplains and whatever else in the military out there for nothing else but for comfort, for someone to talk to, for giving last rites, and all these things, and what are they doing? They're pushing them out.
That's exactly right.
They cannot do this anymore.
And yet, going back to the first story, and then I've got to get a commercial break in here quick. Going back to the first story, like you said, Reverend Jeremiah Wright, standing up at a pulpit and condemning white people and calling the Tea Party a 2-point upgrade from a lynch mob and getting away with it, getting the press, and not getting the absolute and resounding denunciation against the rest of the American public. This is ridiculous.
Oh, big time. I wish I had unlimited funds, because I'd like to throw their own medicine at them and sue the pants off of him for saying what he did.
Amen. Kilt, man, I got to run, but please call again. Thank you so much.
You got it, my friend.
Caller, I'll be right with you. Don't go away, I promise. I just want to tell everybody about Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert, with Steve and the rest of the crew, man. And Steve, I'm sorry I haven't been over there lately. Normally I try to get over there once every other week, and the old pins haven't healed enough for me to get over there, buddy. I apologize. They've got pine shavings for all your horse trailers and your stalls and your ice melt. They've got ice melt. We're going to get colder temperatures again, too. They said that there's going to be some changes in the next couple of weeks. And they've got, oh my goodness, all your clothing. And, of course, they've got the best line of horse tack and blankets, everything over there. And they got people that know. They've got people that know everything about everything in the store at Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop in and see them today. Hey, stop everything, everybody, and listen to what I'm going to say. Next Thursday, we are going to be celebrating. I need your help. I need your help. I'm going to be climbing out of that pickup, sliding into a wheelchair at Denny's parking lot next Thursday for our first lunch bunch at Denny's restaurant at 11:30 on the 30th. Don't miss it, please. It's our inauguration lunch bunch, and I want to fill the place up. I'm serious. I really need your help. Denny's restaurant, 611 North Oberlin in Burley. They have been so kind They have been so gracious to help us, and we really appreciate it. They got a great, delicious menu, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whatever you need, you just stop in and see them today. Deanne's just, she's showing me a note right now that says, seniors, show your AARP card, you get 15% off your bill. Every day, all the time. You better believe it. These are the kind of people that are very helpful. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley, with our lunch bunch next Thursday. Caller, good morning. Thank you for your patience.
You betcha. Good morning, Zeb. You know, I'm kind of sick of both parties, and not to take anything away from your top story, because those people are just spewing their venom because they're afraid that they're losing ground. We have a man in office who threatened to use a telephone and a pen to get what he wants. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but we need both parties to come up with a plan, not just spew crap about each other and blame each other, but to really sit down, get a plan that we can all agree on, and get this country back on its feet.
Yeah, and it does not...
We're sunk.
It does not mean an automatic free pass for re-election coming up in 2014. I had a phone call yesterday afternoon, and this particular gentleman asked me my thoughts about Mike Simpson, our congressman. He asked me my thoughts about others in politics he's heard me on the program denigrate these other people. It is time for a turnout to pasture. I honestly, Donna, I don't care. I'm talking on national politics right now. Please understand the difference between state and national politics. I think we have some excellent legislators that are running our state of Idaho, and it's proven because we're heads and shoulders above everybody with a budget and everything. Look at Idaho compared to California, Oregon, Washington. We're way above because we've got better people, okay? Let's leave it at that. You understand what I'm saying. But when we're talking about a national level, I don't care right now today if a bulldozer goes up to each of the halls of Congress, Senate, and the House, and just takes care of all of them, pushes them out in the street. We are not getting the leadership that we deserve. We're not getting the leadership that we voted for, and we're not getting the leadership the Constitution assures us as we the people. I'm fed up with this garbage, and that's what it is that's trying to run this country.
No, I totally agree. That's what I said. We need both parties to come together. God forbid anything happens. And come together and get this country back. All I've heard so far is one side's blaming the other for shutting the government down. Well, it takes two people to make a marriage.
Well, if you're going to dance, if you're going to go to
100% on both parties.
There you go.
The same in government. Dadgummit, get up off your butts, quit worrying about your own dadgum paycheck, and start worrying about the people that are paying that paycheck.
Amen. And I'm not going to be friendly to anyone on a national basis because, quite frankly, they don't deserve my friendliness. I'm asking for results. I'm demanding results. And this hat-in-hand attitude of, oh, please, Mr. Congressman. Oh, please, Mr. Senator. Donna, you know me well enough, and I've got a bad German temper. Right now, I'm not asking, I'm telling them.
Mm-hmm. Nope, I'm right there with you. I got the same German temper that you got. It just irritates the heck out of me when people let these... We, the people, are to blame because we keep allowing these people to spew their venom and cause discord in both parties. And if, like you said, if it takes a DC cat bulldozer to get in there and get it done, then let's do it. Let's stand up and say, you know what, buckaroos, it's time to take a stand.
Amen.
If we don't, we're sunk.
Yeah, it's almost past time, and I'm going to keep hammering at every one of them. So, hey, listen, God bless you. I got a break coming up. Thank you so much.
You betcha. Have a great day, my friend. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, knowing Gina, she's way ahead of me on this. We're going to, right now, just go to the phone lines real quick and talk to a dear friend of mine. I don't think I've talked to him since I got back from Salt Lake. At least I don't remember because I'm still a little foggy-headed. Good morning, Travel Lube Supply, and my old friend Jim McCall.
Good Come on, I'm not that old.
Oh, did I put emphasis on that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. I can tell.
What's going on, Jim?
Hey, we're getting ready for spring. We're getting filter orders in. Give us a call. Let us on your filters. We can save you some money. If you've got some shop projects going on, we got bolts, we got welding rods, anything you need in that area. And another thing, we got to talk about bobber ropes. I had a dear lady tell me the other day she wanted to know what is a bobber rope.
Do you mean to tell me today, this great day, Thursday, January 23rd, the year of our Lord 2014, that there are still people that have burning questions, yearning for answers regarding bobber ropes? What in the world have we done wrong, Jim?
I don't know. She was thinking it went on a horse, and I thought, well, I guess it could, but that's not the case. That bobber rope is the best tow rope ever built. I guess if you want to use it on your horse, get your four-wheeler out, that's okay. But
ladies and gentlemen, when I talk about bobber ropes, I'm talking about when you're stuck someplace, all you have to do is know that in your little gear bag, whether it's on your ATV, whether it's behind the seat of your pick-em-up truck, whether it's behind the seat of your great big spud truck, you have the rest and assurance that you're going to be pulled out of that muck, sand, and whatever because you own a bobber rope. Isn't that a good way to put it?
Well, I think so, and it ought to go in your saddlebags now.
Absolutely. I don't want to hear any more questions about bobber ropes. I just want results. Ladies and gentlemen, go to the source. Bobber Ropes at Travel Loop Supply, 1050 West 203 south of Hayburn, 438-8730. And Jim will purposely, next Thursday, go out and bury his own personal pickup in a great big puddle of mud and demonstrate the value of a bobber rope.
Well,
you're being a little hesitant there, Jim.
Well, if we can find some water and mud to do that in, I guess that'd be good.
Okay. Boy, it was dead air time at the old corral there for a second. Hey, God bless you, man. Travel Loop Supply, got to run, but we'll tell them the bobber ropes are there. 1050 West, 203 South, Hayburn, 438-8730. Jim, good to hear from you.
Thanks for your help, I think.
Okay. See you later, Jim. Thanks.
See ya.
All right, buddy. Hey, we got to have the Capital Press Ag Minute. I'll be right back.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly. Congressional Farm Bill negotiators have been working nearly continuously to broker a compromise between House and Senate versions of the $500 billion measure. Both chambers approved versions of the 5-year bill in 2013, but they contain key differences regarding crop subsidies and how much to cut from food stamp programs. Negotiators have said they are closing in on a deal with a goal of having one in place by the end of the month. Passage would mark the first farm bill since the 2008 deal. That expired in 2012, but was extended until last September. Negotiators are close to reaching agreement on the major sticking points, including livestock payments, dairy policy, and the country of origin labeling law. This is Brandon Tenner.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
I want to take just a personal moment here, if I can. Yesterday in the afternoon, we had two of our dearest friends that I have known for over 40 years stop by to our house and brought me a gift that means a lot to me. I have always been very enamored with the painting of our father of our country, George Washington, and kneeling in the snow, and it's called The Prayer at Valley Forge. I'm sure you've seen it, with the great big gray gelding standing next to him as George Washington kneeling in the snow in prayer. And they gave me a pewter version of this, and it's on my desk, The Prayer at Valley Forge. And it means so much to me. It really does mean a lot to me, because there's so much thought, and there's so much reverence And there's so much history there. And I just want to say to Dee and Patty Christensen, and they were celebrating their 60th anniversary yesterday. 60 years, and both of them said they'd like to have 60 more. They're just really a great couple, and I just want to say thank you for being so kind and sharing part of your anniversary with Deanne and I. That was very nice. Thank you, Dee and Patty Christensen. God bless you. I appreciate that. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hello, Al.
I want to see you do 200 yards tomorrow.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. Don't bet against me.
I won't.
Don't never bet against me. I was so happy yesterday. There's a joke about that, but I'm not going to share with it on the air. I was so happy and ecstatic that I went that distance, and it really didn't hurt that bad, and the leg functioned fairly well. I was happy.
Okay, but you were talking about the Jeremiah Wrights and all them people. You know, last night on the TV, I listened to something, and it got my blood to boiling so bad, I'm going to call for all veterans, senior citizens, the American people, to stand up and come time for election to kick out this bunch of Democrats and the leaders of this country right now. We are being led down a Communist Party line, and a good example of it is when Michelle Obama said she appreciates and thinks the world of that Jane Fonda, Hanoi Jane.
Oh, my goodness.
After what she did to our American soldiers.
Well, stop there, because I'm going to hang another little ribbon on the tree with the name of Bob Beckel on it.
Yeah.
Bob Beckel is an avowed liberal and very, very outspoken as a Democratic leader, and he's helped run some Democratic presidential candidacies and that type of thing. And he came out and said that we as the United States have been criticizing Jane Fonda for a week of absolute not thinking. No, this has gone on longer than a week. Jane Fonda has been anti-American, has been anti a lot of things, red, white, and blue for this country. And for us, I'm not a forgiving person when it comes to something like this. She showed her colors. She showed who she supported while our American troops were dying. My friends were dying in Vietnam, and she got on the barrel of a weapon for North Vietnam and celebrated with them. I do not forgive.
What frosts me is when that soldier gave her that note to tell her to give him help. Yeah. What does she do? She turns it over to the communist Vietnam.
That's exactly right.
What happened.
That's exactly right.
I can't remember if he died from his injuries or what, but they literally tore the living hell out of him.
But, you know, there's the thing that public is so accepting right now in praising Michelle Obama. I don't like Michelle Obama. I don't like her family. I don't like her background. I don't like her comments. I never have liked her as a person because she said when her husband got elected president the first time, that was the first time she was ever proud of America. I don't like the woman.
Well, if you don't like it, go back to someplace else.
Are you talking about me?
Did I say that?
It kind of come out wrong.
Well, I think you must overwork this if you're hearing it because you ain't listening to me, boy.
No, but you understand why I'm so upset about her.
Yeah, I know it. It's just that way, and I don't know what happened to American morality to get voted people like that in. Honest to God, I don't. I mean, I've never seen such crap in my life.
Al, before you go, I mean, I know that you were in the military, and I know that you're a very regimented person. What are your thoughts about this relaxing through the Pentagon to change the rules of military dress?
Well, if them Muslims want to go ahead and wear their their beards, let them. American soldiers, keep your faces clean, because if you have to use that face mask for a gas mask, you're going to wish you didn't have them whiskers.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just the thought that we have lost our uniformity with the military.
And we did, when I was in there, I did have a little trouble finding one for my religion, but I got along all right.
Okay. Al, as always, thank you and God bless.
All right, 200.
All right, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yes, sir, that's my goal. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There is another problem that needs to be addressed. And you're saying, well, yeah, but it's a national problem, or this person is a national celebrity, etc. No. This is a problem for all of us to be concerned about. Because it seems like there is a thought process that goes on, whether it's a person like Justin Bieber, or a person like Lindsay Lohan, or a person like Britney Spears, that were born and now live a life of fame, luxury, and plenty of money, that they can do anything they want. Now, that's not just in the entertainment business. There are many, many, many families, thanks to maybe dad being an outstanding athlete with a pro contract, and their kids have been in a lot of trouble, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't care if it's a lawyer's family, a lot of money, the kids have been in a lot of trouble, et cetera. But you know what? I looked at this Justin Bieber story that happened and came out early this morning. And I thought, here is a glaring example of his parents being worthless. Now, there are those that are going to criticize me and say, oh, how dare you say that? You don't know his mom and dad. I don't have to. All I know is here's a 19-year-old kid. 19-year-old kid that supposedly is a heartthrob to teenage girls, but right now he's turned into a big headache. And he's causing all kinds of trouble. With his money, his fame, and anything he wants to buy as far as toys are concerned. Last night was arrested for drag racing. He was in a Lamborghini. The other person was in a Ferrari. And he told a couple of his friends to take their cars and block traffic for a designated distance, coming and going, until they could finish this drag race. Here is a young man that is either going to kill himself or he's going to kill someone else. Or both. But you see, this is something that has to be addressed not only for the Justin Biebers, but you can pick up our own local newspaper and you can read about spoiled brats that don't have to be the Lindsay Lohans and the Justin Biebers. And it goes back to parents, it's time to drop the other shoe. I don't care if he's 19. I don't care if he's 17. I don't care if he's 27. You never stop being a parent. And somebody's got to get this kid by his scrawny little neck, park him in a chair, and give him some direction. And I'm serious about this. I hear stories about these punks that absolutely think they're above the law. And he, with his Bieberists, his following, his clan, can tell people, go break the law, park a couple of cars up there on that end of the road, busy thoroughfare, park a couple of cars down here on this end of the road, busy thoroughfare, block all the traffic, don't let anybody by. We're going to have a drag race between a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. I hope they throw the book at this kid. They've already let him off on charges of being drunk, and look at the deal he had with the eggs, just absolutely peppering his neighbor and destroying property, etc. But how much is enough? And I know that you in the audience know kids maybe that are doing the same thing on a local basis. It's time for a lot of tough love. This society is going to hell in a handbasket. Oh, there's some good kids. Man, I'll tell you what, there are some great kids. Every time I just beam with pride when I think of the years that I was involved in speaking at various FFA functions across the state and also at the state chapter finals. There's some great kids out there that want to work, that want to develop, that want to put their best foot forward, that want to study hard, that want to be a business person, they want to run their own farm, their own ranch, they want to get involved in science, whatever. But there's also the crumbs. There's also the bums. Justin Bieber is one of those. And somebody better get his attention now. I can hear you breathing.
What bothers me is that they have coined this term affluenza, where kids from affluent families, well, they don't know the difference between right and wrong, and
why?
Because, they suffer from affluenza.
That's the problem.
Never taught them.
Oh, Gina, this is nothing more, and pardon me for getting so emotionally and mad about this, it's nothing more than a cop-out, and it's a legalese term from a lawyer to just get this bum off.
I know, and you know what? Come on. Parents, you have a responsibility. You brought a child into this world, so it is your job to teach them the difference between right and wrong. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much money you have and how much you give your child. Your child better obey the laws and be respectful.
This isn't a new problem.
No, it's not.
And let me tell you something, and this reverts back to my high school, my junior year, okay? There was and this is in Wisconsin, Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin. There was a very, very affluent family that had 2 teenage boys. One was a year older than I was in school, and one was a year younger. They were absolutely the epitome of armpits with eyes. That's the personality they had. They were better and thought they were better than anybody else because of their dad's money, okay? Dad bought them everything. Dad provided them everything. Dad made sure that he caused waves if they on any kind of a basketball or football team didn't get special recognition. This was horrendous. And one night after prom, they went out and they did similar and comparable to what Justin Bieber did, and they were both killed.
And
so what does this...
pampering got them? Nothing.
That's my point. It's about time we restored some values to being families and raising kids and coming down with a harsh hand. Oh, we can't do that. Why, Dr. Spock would roll over in his grave. My goodness, you can't rebuke your children. That's going to cause them mental anguish. Baloney.
It just flabbergasts me. And honestly, parents, we always want better for our children than we had for ourselves. That's just kind of nature. However, we still have to instill the moral values into our children. It's just not like they're born with them. We have to instill them. And for a daddy to go out and, buy all the cars and buy them out of jail and this and that, the children aren't learning anything. And unfortunately, in the case that you just described, Dad lost both of his kids.
Yeah, but they are learning something. They are learning something. Yes, they are. I disagree with you. They're learning that they have a higher echelon part of life and that they will always get their way. They will always be better than anybody else, and that's what they're learning.
Well, you know what? And then that's where it's time for society and the legal system to really slap them down and say, you are not any better than anybody else. And I don't care how much money you have.
I totally agree.
You're going to do some time behind bars. You're going to pay restitution to your victims. And, I think I'm going to make you do a whole couple years of community service just so you can figure it out.
Why do you think, though, law enforcement, and think about the answer on this, because you follow the news because you're a news person. They basically gave him a shelter over the charges of drug addicts being in his house and drug abuse and everything else on this last charge. Why do they keep giving somebody that is going to hurt, kill, maim, or whatever, someone else or themselves? Why do law enforcement and other people give them passes?
I don't know. And I do know that with this whole new Justin Bieber story, he was arrested for a DUI, and he was actually booked into the Miami-Dade jail system on DUI charges.
Yep.
He's underage. He shouldn't be drinking. I am sorry. At 4 o'clock in the morning, having drag races in a residential neighborhood right by a high school. Are you kidding me?
I'm just furious about this because this kid needs, honestly, somebody to say, come here a minute, please. Lay down and get the biggest wood paddle you can find, and until his eyes really sprout some good tears, lay it on him. I don't care if that offends anybody. I still think we need to go back to corporal punishment as far as spare the rod, spoil the child. The case is right there proven. Justin Bieber's one of the most spoiled brats in the world, and he's going to kill somebody.
He is going to kill somebody, and as whoever has his record contracts, boy, I would be putting the kibosh on that and say, you are giving our company a bad name. We are no longer going to be a part of your musical career. We're going to drop you unless you change.
Amen. I got
a phone call, too.
I got to do the weather real quick, okay? We're going to have MichaelRogersWeather.com in just a moment, but don't forget Quality's Electronics at 1730 Kimberly Road in Twin Falls. The best. Bruce and Steve and everybody, they know all about the super savings. Please, folks, take my advice. You got to get yourself a brand new TV for the big Super Bowl. It is going to be fantastic. They got Samsung 51-inch plasma TV. You can save $50, only $449. Then they've got a great big 80-inch 3D smart TV for just $38.99. 80-inch! You can watch the football fly forever. And then they got the Sonys and they've got the Toshibas. They've got it all for you as you get ready for the Super Bowl. Don't forget it. It's 1730 Kimberly Road in Twin Falls. Quality's Electronics. Call them, and the service is fantastic. 733-4910, Quality's Electronics. Here now, Michael Rogers Weather.
Hi, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got some clouds today. In fact, we got some clouds going to hang around us through Saturday. A lot of sun on Sunday. Temperatures still remain the same from just like the last 72 hours. 40s for the high, 20s for the overnight. Well, have a great day. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Brought to you by Quality's Electronics in Twin Falls. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I forgot what I was going to say. No, this punishing a child for doing wrong, it didn't hurt you, Zeb, and it didn't hurt me. You know, there's a lot of people out there got punished for doing something wrong.
That's right, and boy, I'll tell you what, it was hard punishment, too.
It was. I don't know how many times I had a stick over my backside or
you bet.
Foot on my backside.
You bet.
I had to pick myself up off the gravel 4 foot in front of me or 5.
Yep.
But I'd say 99% of them I had coming. Maybe 99.9. So.
Well, the thing is, I've never, ever criticized my parents for the way that they communicated their enforcement of the rules.
Exactly.
I had it coming. Now, naturally, there's not a teenager anywhere in the world that at the time is going to understand why Dad's laying the wood to your big fat butt, but I'll guarantee you later on it's going to seep in and you're going to remember it and respect it. And I get so sick of these spockish types that say, oh, we're going to damage the child's psyche.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, and I know a parent right now, is a parent of a young child, and they're telling that young child, don't hit. It's not nice.
Yeah.
But in return, they're not spanking the child. And when they do spank the child says, don't hit, it's not nice.
Yeah.
Well, they need to teach the child what you do to others will happen back to you, you know. So the child hits you, you slap it back. That's how I learned. That's how I taught my kids.
My dad was a former boxer, and he had hands that looked like a couple of hams. And I'm not exaggerating for people that knew my dad. And when he'd come home and Mom would go to him and say, Jerry, we had this problem today, then you looked off into the sunset on a fading afternoon sun, and your life as you knew it as a pre-teenager or whatever, it was about over. And I knew I was going to get a whooping, but you know something? I thought very hard about ever committing the same kind of a transgression again.
Exactly. You know, and I blame the parents of these kids. The kids are going to take the easy route. They're going to take the route of the least resistance, like, you know, a lot of things do in life.
Yeah.
But the parents aren't mature enough to be parents to raise a child that can succeed in society.
Yeah, but look at this kid. Look at this Bieber. Okay, he's been entertaining for what, 5, 6 years, 7 years or so, since he was like 13 or 14 years old. And Mom and Dad just kind of getting a free ride. Believe me, they're getting a whole cookie jar full of money when it comes to him, because they're just getting a lot of a free ride off this kid's talent. But you know what? If they were any kind of parents at all, they'd have just grabbed him right by the shoulders and said, son, we're going to sit here and talk for a minute, and you may not like the outcome of our speech.
Yep. Well, they should have been a parent.
Amen.
You know, when they get rich and they start, you know, getting all this money coming in, that's when you say, okay, you're still a child. You need to live on this. You need to do this. and you still need to do this. When you are of age, then you can start, managing your money, but no, you're not going to have it all right now.
Yeah, well, it's a spoiled, absolutely rotten personality that's exuding from a 19-year-old that thinks he's so powerful that he can ask others to break the law, to help him break the law, and do whatever he pleases.
And that's what dollars will do. When people sell their soul for dollars, that's what will happen.
I got to run, but thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Caller number 2, I'll be right there as quick as I can. I'm running out of time. I want to tell everybody about your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, and service is the key word. They've got all your winter traction tires. They've got all the different tread designs for your pickups, your SUVs, your cars, everything. You stop in and see any one of the Les Schwab Tire Centers serving you with the best in tire chains and batteries and snow wheels and brake service. Absolutely phenomenal. They are the best. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Poline and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. I have exactly 1 minute, caller. Make it brief.
Yes, Zeb, do you remember the summer of 1976 when Bruce Jenner was the decathlete, the gold medal winner, and he was on the front of Sports Illustrated, and he was a stud, to say the least. He was best-looking guy. I thought, man, that is a stud. And I always been wondering what happened to him, because he looks so strange. Well, he has intentionally been whittling away at his face, doing things on purpose, because last night he had his Adam's apple shaved. Apparently, they're thinking he might decide he's going to be a woman.
Oh, please.
And I think to myself, okay, this is what happens to people who are in situations where money no longer matters. Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Justin Bieber. These people are truly, literally lost and mentally ill to a point.
I agree.
And we are, the fact that we perpetuate it is just sick.
I agree. Boy, we could go on and on about that story. Instead of him throwing the javelin, maybe he should have been a catcher. See you later, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Got to run to the news. I'll be back in 6. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. I love my pillow from Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. You bet your memory foam pillow. We'll talk more about that later on this morning. And also some of our great advertisers, including like Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Really, really nice folks. It is Thursday, and that means that in just one moment we're going to be going to the Chamber of Commerce, and that's going to be a call to find out what Kay and the rest of the crew are doing, so stand by for that. But first and foremost, I want to remind you about Joel Heward and his very, very nice and very competent staff serving you and your families at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Folks, listen, we all need to realize life is real, and sometimes it comes naturally to an end earlier or later. We need to be prepared. So therefore, why don't we get the information on pre-planning funerals so that our family won't have the stress and the worry? Call them today at 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, 710 6th Street, serving you. And now, without further ado, I don't think I've had a chance to talk to this lovely lady for a couple of weeks now. Here is the lovely Kay Cameron.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. The question, though, is how are you?
Humpty Dumpty's getting put back together.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's good to hear you back on the show.
You know, I got to be honest with you. I miss this show when I'm away. I really do miss this show, and I thank Sharon, and I thank Gina, and everybody else for all their work and keeping things going. But, man, I miss talking to you and everybody else. This is just a part of my life.
Yes. Yes, it is, and you're missed when you're not on the program.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, you are probably noticing a kind of a winter scene out your window this morning with frost on the branches of the trees and the birds kind of skittering here and there and looking for something to eat. It's kind of a chilly morning out there.
It is, but I'll tell you what, since I've come to the office, the sun has come up. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. It's stunningly beautiful looking out across the river at the frost on all the trees and the sun shining on them. It's absolutely a beautiful morning.
Well, here we are in going into the latter stages of January. January already, Kay? Come on. Now, you got to agree with me. Wasn't Christmas just last week?
Oh, you know, it kind of seems like it, but I've been so busy since Christmas and have had a lot going on in my life that it also, on the other side, it seems like, gosh, it's been a long time since Christmas was here.
Okay, well, what are some of the things that are cooking with the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, we're really excited. Tonight is our annual installation banquet. It's always an exciting event. We have lots of people who are going to come. We've got a lot of things going on. We're very excited to welcome Director Jeff Sayer, who's the head of the Department of Commerce for the state of Idaho, to come and give our keynote address tonight. And very excited to just talk about all the things going on in the community and all of the exciting things that we're going to look forward to this upcoming year.
Now, how many? You said it's an induction ceremony. Also, you've got new people that are going to be taking over certain positions.
We do, and actually, we will introduce them tonight. We've already done the induction at our board meeting this month to get them rolling and get them going. But we will introduce them tonight, and we're very excited to have new people to work with.
Very good. Now, what else is looming on the horizon?
Oh, looming on the horizon. There's always a lot of things going on. You know, one thing that's always, we're so fortunate in our community is we're so wealthy in the arts and we have so many things going on, but I know that we're gearing up here the end of, I think, next month for Les Mis that the Mount Harrison Heritage Foundation is putting on, and that's exciting. On the 8th of February, I'm helping put together a fun run up in Albion. It's the Heart to Heart Fun Run. Mm-hmm. This is, I think, the 4th year that we've done it, and myself and a couple of friends who also enjoy running and giving back to the community just decided to get together and do this because it's for a good cause. We give all the money back to the community. The proceeds either partially go to the Mini-Cassia Christmas Council, and then to somebody in our community that we feel has a need. And this year we're giving a portion of the proceeds to John Searle, who was in a terrible bike accident this last summer.
Yes, and our very best go to him and his family.
Absolutely, and when those things happen, we know that there's just a lot of expenses that pop up, and you know, we figure we can just do our part. So if anybody wants to get registered for the Heart to Heart, we've got registration forms here. I know they're out and about around the community, but it is on Saturday, February 8th. And like I said, it is for a good cause. And early in the year, but it's always so much fun to get out, and we always have great participation.
All right. Hey, speaking of which, what's going on? Anything coming up that you want to mention about Valentine's Day?
Don't forget your sweetheart on Valentine's Day, because that could lead to a lot of trouble.
Oh, boy.
Valentine's Day is February 14th. It's on a Friday night this year. I would recommend, if you like to dine out, I would be sure and get your reservations early, because I'm sure a lot of the establishments will fill up fast. But don't forget your sweethearts, and, you know, check out all of our local merchants here. We've got great floral shops and different things, and support our local merchants on Valentine's Day. And if anybody needs some ideas for their sweetheart on Valentine's, give me a call, and I'll do some consulting with you.
You might have hit a home run right here, because I can't believe what I owe Deanne for everything she's done for me. I mean, man, she is just double duty, and it's been hard trying to take care of a big old fat cowboy for the last couple of weeks.
Yep, so give me a call, Zeb, and I'll help you out.
All right.
All taken care of.
How does anybody get a hold of the Chamber of Commerce?
come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn. And like I said, this morning it is absolutely gorgeous outside with all the frost on the trees. So come by and check out the stunning view, or give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us on the internet at minicadgechamber.com, or like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
There you go. It's really, really nice to hear from you again. Thanks, Kay.
Well, likewise, and we're glad you're on the up and up.
All right. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day and a great week.
You too.
Thank you. Kay Cameron with the Chamber of Commerce, and she is just absolutely a wonderful lady for that job. Okay, don't forget life insurance. Check mark. Health insurance. Yep, check mark. Retirement planning. Check mark. Employee benefits. Check mark. Do you mean you've got all those taken care of? Oh, truth be told, you haven't got a hold of my friends yet. Well, you'd better get a hold of Dean Cameron and Todd Siemens today, and they can help you make sure that you can put a check mark there, that you are protected the way you need to be. All you have to do is just give them a call at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. They're located on Highway 24 in Rupert, right there. Cameron and Siemens Insurance. You get a hold of them today. You know, I was talking to Gina before the program started this morning. We were on the telephone. And I said, Gina, what's cooking as far as any public service announcements? I've been out of the loop for a couple of weeks, and I don't really have a complete listing of anything that's coming up. Gina, is there anything really important that I need to be made aware of or cognizant that's happening this weekend?
Well, let's see here. Coming up today and tomorrow, if people have not signed up for the mandated health care that we're all supposed to, there are going to be two different seminars, one going on today in Twin Falls from 11 until 2, and then again from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Red Lion Hotel Canyon Springs Inn. And then tomorrow they're going to be at the Fairfield Inn and Suites in Burley, same hours, 11 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, and then 4:30 to 6:30. And if you want more information on this, on the tour dates, getoutgetcovered.com. This is actually sponsored by Your Health Idaho and then Pacific Source. So lots of great information there if you do not know how to navigate through this new healthcare system. So that's going on. Coming up, the 24th, which actually happens to be tomorrow, the Minicadge Community Concert is presenting the Diamonds. It's going to be classic rock and roll. It starts at 7:30 at the King Fine Arts Center. And you can get your tickets now just by going by the King Fine Arts Center, or just call 678-1798. And what else is coming out? Oh, here's something that you would absolutely love, Zeb. The 37th Annual CSI Boxing Smoker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that is coming up this weekend at the Expo Center on Saturday. Doors open at 6. The first fight begins at 8. You can get your tickets here locally. The one place locally that you can get it is Easy Money Auto in Burley. You can also get it at Vickers Western Store in Twin, the Shoe and Tack Shop in Jerome, and, of course, at the door. And if you get your tickets out the door, they are going to cost you a couple bucks extra, but that is all to support the CSI Rodeo team. So that's coming up. And then there's one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and that was the Idaho Eastern Oregon Potato Committee, and they're taking handler nominations right now, and this is for Districts 1 and 3, and they're going to be presenting these nominations at their meeting that's going to be held on February 20th, and that's in conjunction with the Idaho Growers Shippers Association Board meeting. Now, there's two positions available, District 1 and District 3. The positions start on June 1st of this year, 2-year positions, so they end on May 31st of 2016. And if you know of somebody that you would like to nominate for one of these positions, or maybe yourself, you need to submit your nominations to Tammy Thompson at 529-8050.
There you go. Hey, that was excellent. I'm going to ask you a favor if you could possibly, just a smidgen, turn the feed line up to me just a little bit. All of a sudden it kind of went a little bit quiet, and my head's all stuffed up anyway, so if you could help me, I'd appreciate that.
For you?
Yeah, it is. Thanks.
Perfect. Okay.
Let's see, what else was I going to mention to you? We talked about Justin Bieber, talked about... Boy, I'm telling you, these physical therapists. Have you ever had to have a physical therapist?
Yeah, I have.
I've got a wonderful physical therapist. Her name is Davy Mussman, and I've known Davy. She goes to our church, but oh my goodness, she could go into any branch of the service right now and bring any general, colonel, or whatever down to their knees.
She gains your respect now, doesn't she?
Oh, she's good. Oh, she's good.
Making you do all of your physical therapy then?
Yeah, and it's working. I'm telling you something. I was so excited. You know, first, it's got to be stretched out, okay?
Yes.
Then there's exercises to where I literally have to bend the knee and all the bones and everything that were replaced underneath me.
And it's a little bit excruciating, isn't it?
Let me just tell you this, and I want to say this in a very professional manner.
Okay.
There was a point yesterday during the exercise period that I thought about having Deanne run to the grocery store and buy some Depends.
You know, physical therapy is not meant to be easy, and it's meant to push you because you had surgery, so you need to rebuild all of this stuff, and it's definitely going to be painful, but very, very proud of you.
She said, breathe. I said, I can't right now.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah, it was like the doggone Karate Kid, you know, and she says, now you got to breathe, and I can't.
Now, how far were you? Because I'm assuming that you're holding on to something and you have to bend down. So how?
No. I'm sitting in a flat chair.
Okay. All right.
And what they do is they put the leg that was operated on a piece of wood and keep in a sitting position, keep pushing it back underneath me.
Oh, okay.
And to the point where, you know...
You had tears rolling.
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry.
That's okay, because rehabilitation ain't friendly there, mister.
I thought that it was absolutely kind of wussy of me. I said, bring it on there, sweetheart, and she did.
She's like, okay, how you feeling now there, mister?
And then after they got done with 10 of those repetitions doing that, then she says, oh, well, we're going to go the other way now. I said, well, other way? What do you mean, other way? And she says, well, we're going to straighten your leg out, and then we're going to apply 10-pound weights to the knee to push it down flat. Now, there were ample opportunities for me I could have got arrested yesterday.
And is this all to, like, stretch out all of your tendons, your hamstring, and all of that kind of stuff? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So they don't, like, atrophy?
Yes. And then when I got to do, like, there's close to about 100 when you figure the reps and everything.
Yeah, because you've got to do 10 reps of 10 each.
And then she said, now we're going to get up, and you're going to walk on your crutches. And I thought to myself, sweetheart, are you in a trance?
And she said, no, mister, but you're gonna do it anyway.
And you know what? I got up, and I started walking, and I thought, wait a minute. This isn't supposed to work like this easy 2 weeks after surgery. And I'm very, very much impressed and very happy.
So keep up with it. And even if she brings you to tears, it's only because she wants to.
Yeah, and see, then she taught Deanne how to do all the exercises, which is like teaching somebody else to build a nuclear bomb.
Oh, Deanne's going to enjoy this part.
She does. There's one exercise where she's supposed to lean on my leg, with a hand just below the knee and a hand just above the knee, and put her weight on it to stretch it out.
All 35 pounds of her?
130 pounds, and you can just see, during the repetitions, a small glint in her eye of, go ahead, big boy, complain.
I'm right here. I'm going to smack you, Buster.
She's doing a great job. Hey, who let all these doggone dogs out of here anyway, for Pete's sakes?
Let the dogs out! Who let the dogs out?
There's dogs all over.
Who let the dogs out?
Go get that dachshund, for heaven's sakes.
Just so you know, wasn't able to join us today, but he did forward me who he did want to feature for the Dog Nation Dog of the Week. And this week, it is Ruger. Now, Ruger, he's a beautiful little boy. He's a chocolate lab cross. He's a neutered male. Great dog, but he hasn't been socialized, so he needs a family that's going to help him, learn socialization skills. Loves kids, other dogs, and he loves to ride in cars, loves to run. So he would be a great dog to take out into the desert and just let him have at it and run loose. He will chase cats, but it's only because he wants to play with them. He doesn't want to hurt them. He would make a great dog with some training. He was an owner surrender. He is completely up to date on all of his shots, and of course he is fixed, and he is available for adoption right now.
Oh, he's fixed, huh?
Yeah.
He's got all four wheels running in the same direction. Yeah, he's
much.
Yeah, okay, he's fixed.
But anyway, he is actually, I'm sitting here looking at a picture of him where he's actually pointing. He's pointing at something that he's seeing, and he's just a beautiful-looking chocolate lab. And so if somebody would like to bring him into their home and make him their forever pet, or visit any one of the other fine animals that they have over there at the Minidoka Joint Powers Animal Control Shelter, just give the shelter a call at 438-2200 or Officer Ken Mort at 670-7268.
You know, that was a sad thing. I noticed out by Murtaugh Lake, and Deanne took me for a little ride the other day, and we were driving around. You know, the kind of a person that could drop off little puppies and
that angers me.
And just leave them on the side of the road. There is a special place in hell for those people.
Amen.
And I'm not going to be kind. I'm not going to mix my words. If you can't take care of the dogs, certainly you've got more humanity than just taking them out and dropping them on a side of a road. I don't understand people.
I don't understand that. You know, growing up, our philosophy was, and this is the way I was raised, when you have a pet, that pet is a part of your family. You consider it a child because basically they run at the mentality of anywhere between 3 to 5 years old. So you constantly have a 3 to 5 year old child that you have to take care of. They are a part of the family. They are not a yard ornament. They are. If you cannot keep a pet for its lifetime, don't get one.
Amen.
Period.
Amen. No, this was very saddening because I don't even want to elaborate on it because it broke my heart. If I had my druthers, I would have picked up each and every one of them and brought them home and taken care of them. But there again, Gina, I mean, you've got to be definitive and draw a line that you can't be the keeper to all things.
No, you can't. And trust me, I've got 4 cats and a dog. The dog, my Shelby, I did rescue from the Minidoka shelter years ago. Boogsy, I rescued from a friend of ours. And then all of the other ones that seem to adopt me. I can't take any more pets, and I am an absolute animal lover, and I would love to help all of them. So it's like Conway Kitty here at the studio. He's got a pretty cush life, but I made that happen. However, you've got to be a responsible pet owner. You can't rescue every single one that you want to, but if you can't even take care of one and you can't even, give it a home for life, please don't get an animal.
Yeah, and thank God, literally, for people like Ken Mort and what they're trying to do, because, man, I'll tell you what, hats off to what they do.
He is an angel for animals.
Yeah.
He is an angel for animals. And if you have an animal that you cannot take care of, please, by all means, contact one of the local shelters. They will gladly take them in. And this is what Officer Mort always tells me. Don't go out into the middle of the desert and drop your dog off.
Oh.
You can't take care of it, because this has happened to him, where he's found dogs multiple times just running loose out in the desert. Don't do that. If you can't take care of it, just take it to the shelter, even after hours, and they will take care of it, and then you know that dog is going to be, taken care of as well.
Oh, there is no heart or any kind of conscience in any kind of person that could do something like that.
No, it just breaks my heart.
Mine too. Yeah. Well, anyway, now we know who let the dogs out. Ladies and gentlemen, I missed talking to my dear friend Ken Mort. He'll be back next week. Gina did a great job filling in. And don't forget, what's that number again for Minidoka Animal Control?
It's 438-2200, or you can always give Officer Mort a call at 670-7268.
All right. Thank you very much, Gina. I appreciate it. We're going to have Rita Ramsey on the air with us in just a moment, but I want to remind you, too, about Let's Ride, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Oh, boy, the ATVs. That's another thing. I'm really looking forward to getting on my ATV and going up in the hills. I can't wait. The doctors down in Salt Lake, they said, no, what do you like to do? And I said, I like to ride horses, I like to rope, and I like to ride ATVs. And they looked at each other and said, we got a problem, kid, here. Anyway, I just love my ATV. Deanne loves hers. And we just like to get away and enjoy. Well, they've got all the new models over there. You're going to love them. You got to stop in and see them today, okay? My goodness, they've got a showroom just filled with them, and all the accessories. Everything you could possibly be looking for is right there at Let's Ride, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. They're open 9 to 6, Tuesdays through Saturdays. Got a fantastic parts and service department serving you. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. You stop in and see them today. Now, I know I'm a minute or two early, but I'll check with Gina. Is Rita ready to go?
No, she hasn't called
She hasn't
yet.
called
So
in
Rita,
yet.
I know you're listening.
I had something else I was going to mention too. What are you doing this weekend, by the way?
What am I doing this weekend?
Yeah.
Well, I am going to be judging a little contest that they have over at the little theater for local high school students. It's the Business Professional Association.
Oh.
And so I will be a judge for the video production and news portion.
Well, now, there you go. They found just the right person for that job.
They did, and I actually got my old cohort in crime, Joe Martin, to actually be my co-judge with that.
Joe is still alive?
He is still alive. He's still kicking, and I will get to see him. And I haven't seen him in a long time, so I'll be able to see him on Saturday. So that's pretty much my plans for the weekend.
Well, I'm telling you, tell old Joe I said hello, because I thought sure that he'd passed away a long time ago, and they were, etching out a piece of rock on Mount Rushmore.
He has been around for a long...
Well, he told God where to pile the dirt.
He did. We've got Rita on the line for you.
Okay, thanks. Well, good morning, pretty lady, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. How are you doing? Are you up and about?
Now, let's define up and about.
You're about to be able to walk a little faster.
I am. We've got a phone that's off the hook or something. I can hear in the background or something that's beeping, but I am doing much better. And I thank you for your kind remarks. I really do. I want to ask you a question here this morning before we get really into the depth of all the news. Do you hear that phone? That's driving me nuts.
I can't hear it.
Dan, check our phone line quickly, please. It might be my other phone line here at the ranch.
There's nothing here at the studio.
Hold on. All right, she's going to check the other line right now to make sure that it's hung up properly, and I don't think it is. There, it was our line. Rita, I was going to ask you about Reverend Jeremiah Wright. I have never in my life seen a person that is less deserving of the title Reverend than this man. He is a racist bigot that does anything and everything to inflame the whites versus the blacks.
I thought about that a lot when he was making comments on the MLK Day stuff, and I got to thinking, he has to feel threatened by people who just want to be recognized as Americans, not whether you're black or white. And for him to backlash and all the backlash that's coming down from the MLK Day, I mean, he trashed Martin Luther King, but that was because Martin Luther King was trying to do stuff peacefully. And Reverend Wright he's just a bigot, he's horrible, and that should just confirm to us the kind of teaching, if it's really true that our president spent 20 years in his congregation, the kind of teaching and associations that he had, and why he's so divisive, because I think he learned it there.
What did you think of this comment that he made on Martin Luther King Day that, I'm telling you, it just made me so furious? If a white person had said any kind of a remark comparable or similar to what he said, that person, whether it was on a national news program or a show like mine or whatever, we would have got drummed off the air. When he said that the modern-day Tea Party is just about a 2-point upgrade from a lynch mob.
Well, I can only say that he must be a little bit intimidated by the Tea Party. for him to say something like that, because they've never done anything like that. The Tea Party has open borders for any color, religion, political preference, whatever you are. It doesn't matter. If we just all believe that America is good and we want to go by the Constitution, and we've got to make some changes in order to keep America alive, it doesn't matter where you stand on any of those other things. So for him to be saying stuff that just tells me that he's intimidated a little bit.
Well, but here's a guy, along with Al Sharpton, another reverend, Jesse Jackson, another reverend. They do a service, an in-service, and a disservice to the word reverend connected to their names, because they're doing nothing but causing hate.
Well, I think it's horrible, and it's even more horrible that people actually pay him, and he has enough money to have the platform still that he has. He should have been drummed out of town.
What did you think about Barack Obama coming out? And to me, this is quite offensive. Maybe I'm making a big thing out of something that other people today don't care about, but that Obama basically has said that, go ahead and light up that marijuana. It's not as bad as alcohol. Just light up and have a good time, everybody.
That should be real concerning to people all over everywhere, because we've seen the kind of values that he has. He isn't he doesn't consider the Constitution and America as one of the greatest places on earth, or in the history of the world even, of which he should. He doesn't have values that I'm against that kind of thing, because it's not good for you. It doesn't do anything good for you. I think it destroys brain cells, and I guess maybe that's why he's in the dither that he's in, is because he's destroyed a lot of brain cells, and he just isn't what he really could be.
Well, you say a dither that he's in, but I'm looking at it a little different. It's been an illegal and illicit product for years and years and years. And then all of a sudden, along with his liberalized ideology, and also the Democrats, using Colorado as a focal point, trying to make it legal. And Rita, the other day we were talking about this to Doug Johnson and also Frosty Woolridge, both from Colorado. And think of all the repercussions that are going to be caused because of the legalization of pot. You've got your athletes, your athletic factor. You've got people coming into the state from out of the state that might be competing, whether it's a high school or a college basketball team or whatever. You've got all the court cases that were illegal and now they're saying it's legal. I mean, this throws everything into complete turmoil.
Well, it does, and there's going to be a lot of consequences to pay because of it, and it's a sad deal when they will do something like that, because you and I both know that it has become a gateway drug for the other harder things, and for it to just be available and giving the message to youth that, well, it's legal, so it must be not that bad, and they can get started into it. It's really a sad day, because all it does is just, validate that for youth that, there's probably nothing that'll hurt me with it, but that's not true.
One other little story, and it has really nothing to do with the state of Idaho, but it has to do with honesty and integrity of running for a political office. And knowing you, and I mean this in all politeness and sincerity, being the news junkie that you are, you've heard of this story about Texas Democratic State Senator Wendy Davis that wants to run for the governorship of Texas. She's a liar, Rita.
Well, I think that people like that think that they can just do stuff without ever being found out, or nobody's going to check them out. And I think that she was a little emboldened to think that, well, Democrats just have carte blanche when it comes to the press, and nobody will check into it. And so they just get really, really brazen and start spewing their lies and telling things all so that they can do what they want to do. And they definitely have an agenda against people who don't think the way that they do, the press. Mm-hmm. And so for her, I think she just kind of thought she could get away with it. Well, surprise, surprise, she was really in the wrong state to be pulling a trick like that.
Absolutely. And I know that there's been some big cover-ups, and she's got some high-powered people with the pen and also the microphone that are trying to smooth this thing over for her. But she blamed her Republican opponent, Texas Attorney General Greg Abbott, and then she really stuck her foot in her mouth when she said something to the effect that, well, he doesn't know what it's like because he's never walked in my shoes, and Greg Abbott is a paraplegic.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty telling. She, like I said, she just figured that she would have carte blanche with the press and could say and do whatever she wants. And that's the problem with the Democrats, is that they think that they can just do anything they want and say anything they want. And I'm not trying to say with Chris Christie or Governor McDonald that they didn't do something wrong, because we don't know the extent of what they actually did wrong, or if they did stuff that was unlawful or whatever. But they have been accused of something, and that's what will ruin their reputation. Now, whether they're exonerated or whatever, it doesn't matter in the end, because they have had their reputations tarnished. And all in the name of some Democrats are afraid that they might be running for president in a couple more years. Hello?
Yeah. I want to leave that, and I'm kind of shotgunning things here this morning a little bit about what's going on in the news. And I know that you and your family, and believe me, you've got quite a family, lots of numbers gather together for the holidays, Christmas and Thanksgiving and everything. What kind of a family could possibly be in support of this punk, this troublemaking punk, this Justin Bieber that absolutely is, he's such a heartthrob, but he's a pain in the you-know-what. This kid is absolutely trouble looking for a place to happen.
Well, it is, and the part that makes me really sad about it is these kids come and become stars, and they get everything they want, and they have just unlimited money so they can buy whatever they want, and then they think that the laws don't pertain to them, and they start doing things that they wouldn't otherwise do, or they don't receive consequences that they would have had otherwise, and then they're just totally out of control. We've seen that with numbers of little Hollywood young people that got into trouble, and they're in trouble with the law because of drugs and various different things. I think it was Gina who probably said earlier, he needs to have a bunch of public service. He needs to be punished to the full extent of the law. If he's got to go to jail, whatever, to teach him, hey, you just keep this up and you're going to lose all of your privileges. We're not going to give you a pass on this. Because first of all, it's his future that they're not taking into consideration when they just give a pass, but it's lots of other people that he could be endangering them with their losing their lives or being hurt or whatever. And so it's really, really sad when they won't give them actual or maybe even harder sentences because of who they are.
Well, right,
and thinking that it doesn't matter.
Right there, though, there's the crux of the problem. He gets a pass from even law enforcement. They investigated what they thought was a drug raid on his palatial home, and basically the cops and the investigators kind of turned a deaf eye and turned their nose down the other direction. Why? Is money that important that it absolutely is going to possibly lead to a death not only of this young man, but others that are in his wake? I mean, what's going on in our society here?
Well, I think money is behind it, and I think there were some money people saying to whoever was doing the investigative reports and stuff, hey, let's just keep this low. We don't want this to ruin his, reputation. We don't want it to cause him to, go broke or be shunned or anything like that. Instead, his mother should have been there saying, you know what, haul this little guy off to jail and let him sit his butt in jail for a day or two and think about what he's done here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because the situation that he was arrested for this morning, where he actually put more than just himself in harm's way. He told a couple of his friends to take their very fancy cars to the end of the road going one way, and told a couple of other friends to go down the other way and block traffic on a heavy thoroughfare so that he, in his Lamborghini, could race somebody else in a Ferrari. Now, this is endangering not only other people, not only the innocents trying to travel up and down the road, but he's actually using the money as power to where he's above the law, and somebody's got to squash this kid like a bug.
Well, he's just going to get more out of control, kind of like Lindsay Lohan and whatever her name is, I can't even...
Oh, Britney Spears is another good example.
Yeah, yes. And it's a sad deal that people can't learn that there are consequences that need to be paid for choices. And if you made a good choice, you get a good consequence. And if you make a bad choice, you don't get to choose what the consequences are. And they're going to be bad. And they need to let him just suffer his consequences, pay his debt to society, and let the law just proceed the way that it would with anybody else who didn't have a lot of money or popularity or ways of getting around that kind of stuff. It just should not happen.
I got to ask you, Kathleen Sebelius, when I watched her on television early this morning, and then I watched her yesterday, and I caught the various news programs where they've been interviewing her, and she says, "Oh, Obamacare is just going wonderfully well. Everything is going according to plan. We're getting the sign-ups. Everything looks great." And then we hear the non-prejudicial experts that are studying these graphs, studying all the people that have not signed up, and they're going, "Hey, this dude is going to implode and go through the basement in a very short time because they're not getting the sign-ups that she, Sebelius, and others are saying they are."
Yeah, I think they're hoping that it'll be kind of like when you drive past a new restaurant and there's just tons and tons and tons of cars there, and you go, "Man, if there's a lot of people there, it must be good, so I better go in there too." And I think they're trying to say, hey, there's a lot of traffic, everybody's signing up, they're all happy, everything's working good, it's going to be a good deal, just to entice people to go ahead and get enrolled and get into it and be part of it. It's not going to work, it's not going to be good, and it's just going to break the system. I'd love to see it just totally break down and fall apart in the next few months and show it for what it is, because it is not going to work.
Well, okay, but now this morning, and this is scary, Rita, because I don't care if you're a small business person like I am and you're involved in a great business. When you hear companies like Aetna Insurance Company, and Aetna's not a small little chick out in the farmyard, Aetna's a big-time player in the insurance business, they're worried sick that it's just going to kill their business.
Well, it will. And you know what? If they were in the middle of the planning with it, I guess that's what the consequences are of them being into it. The problem is there were some companies who weren't involved with it, and there will be backlash, and there will be those that lose their companies over it. And it's a sad deal. But the part that makes me mad about the insurance companies, there were a lot of them that sat down to the table with the politicians while they were getting ready to get this proposed and everything, and they were told, you just stay on board with us and you be one of the people that they will sign up to, and we will guarantee that you don't lose money. In fact, we will guarantee it so much that if you don't make a profit, we will subsidize you. And they give them a certain amount of times, and they said, oh, but by the way, if you do make money, you're going to have to pay us back. Well, guess what? When you have a business, if you know you're going to make a profit, you can pay out your profits to your stockholders and show no profit, and so they won't have to give money back to the government, but they will be guaranteed that they don't lose money on this. I've never seen anything come down the pike for Ramsey Heating Electric saying, well, you know, if you have a losing year, we'll give you a subsidy just to keep you alive.
There you go.
We think you're so valuable, you ought to be the one of the ones that stays around. I mean, that's what they were telling these insurance companies. So I say to them, you know what? If you go down, too bad you asked for.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, this is a subject that you and I have talked about many, many times. But I'm becoming more adamant about this all the time. I guess maybe it's all the drugs that I had while I was in the hospital, and maybe all the anesthesiology and everything else. But I'm changing, Rita. I'm changing my mind. I honestly believe now more than ever before we need to incorporate term limits. We need to let these people know that they're not as valuable as they think they are. They are not a godsend to this country. They are working people for us, their constituents. I don't know how we're going to get it done, but I would love to be a major part in opening the door to every one of the offices back there in the House and the Senate and saying, don't let the doorknob hit you in the posterior on the way out.
Well, it is definitely something that needs to be done, and the only power that we have is at the voting booth. However, there could be changes made. There not only needs to be term limits for our local representatives, whether it's the state of Idaho or even for our national ones, the U.S. congressmen and the U.S. senators and the president. There needs to be term limits for all of them because that isn't the way that it was intended to be. However, what about the Supreme Court? There really should be term limits for them too. Mm-hmm. And how do we do that? I mean, the only way that it can be done is some changes have to be made, and they have to be made nationwide because Idaho can make all the changes that they want, and they'll just end up with the ones with less of a voice. And it's not fair to, for Idaho to make those things and say, well, we're going to make sure that our representatives only have X terms, and that's going to be it. We have to do it at the voting booth if we don't want them. But for other representatives and senators to be able to stay in there for 40 years and they take all of the leadership positions and make all of the laws and tell all of the younger ones that come and go, hey, you're going to do it our way or you're going to be sitting on the outside. That's a bad deal. And so it has to be changed all the way across if it's going to be changed.
Harry Reid and all the others that are back there as their life's work. Basically, it's not their life's work. It's the life of lining their pockets with all the amenities that they've received. I mean, I've had it. And look at Mike Simpson. Mike will not. Now, here's my thought on Mike Simpson. Tell me I'm wrong. Please call me, audience. I don't feel like I should have to be the dog chasing a parked car. You would think that Mike Simpson would call me and say, look, evidently there's a rift between you and me and our thoughts on certain things. How do we go about discussing this? Can I come on your program? Can I discuss what made you upset in the first place about Michelle Bachmann and classifying you and Michelle as McCarthyists, worried about the Muslim Brotherhood? If I were a politician seeking re-election, I'd try to go to the sources and try to smooth over the roads. He's not, he won't, and he's not coming on this program till he does.
Well, I think he has mapped out Idaho, and he knows where he's got support, and that's definitely not in our neck of the woods, which is very, very conservative. You can go a little bit further east of Murtaugh, and you get a little bit more less conservative, possibly. But he's not going to pay any attention to this area here.
But
he knows that we're conservative, and he's not.
Well, let me ask you, though, Rita, and I'm not going to ever apologize for my stance on this because I was right. There was a lot of criticism that was being weighed against Mike Simpson for sending that letter to Michelle Bachmann, because all Michelle Bachmann did was question why Secretary of State at that time, Hillary Clinton, was appointing Muslim Brotherhood people to her part of the administration, and then Obama has appointed many Muslim Brotherhood appointees to various members of cabinetship, and now we're hearing, of course, so many negatives about the Muslim Brotherhood. Why shouldn't we be concerned about who's taking these positions, and why shouldn't we ask questions? And if we do, why are we called McCarthyists?
Well, first of all, we shouldn't be concerned because they think they're smart enough to take care of all of everything that goes on, and we don't have any business being worried about it because they're doing the right thing. That's what they think. And second of all, they don't want to cause any waves with the people in Washington, because if they just kind of sit still and don't make any waves, that's what Washington wants, and they think that they'll have a little bit further clout. Well, they don't, and they need to realize that. The other problem is that they can call us McCarthyists or whatever, but you know what? If you read the real history about McCarthyism,
that's right.
he was right. There were communists in the Senate and in the Congress, and there were communists. There still are communists there, and that's fine, but, people ought to know that. It's just that when you don't have anybody know anything about it, they think, everything's wonderful. Yeah, he's a little bit wacko. Well, you start finding he's a communist. That means he would want us to have communist views as well. And so you vote him out and send him on his way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently Mike Simpson hasn't done any studying and checking into what the real McCarthyist is.
I'm beginning to think that in Mike's case, and I wished he'd call in right now. I wished he would be listening, or somebody would call him and he'd come on the phone line right this very minute. And I'd tell him the same thing. Mike, sometimes you have tunnel vision and you will not move because you have too much pride in admitting you made a mistake.
Well, I think that sometimes they act like little kids who think, well, if I just keep quiet, maybe parents won't notice, and I can kind of skate out of here without any kind of a confrontation or anything, and then it'll be all right because it'll be forgot about. And if we just kind of keep it quiet and shimmy out of here really without making any kind of waves, we'll be good. And so I think that that's what he's doing. I think he's just thinking, well, if I don't say anything else about it, if I don't answer any questions, because they know that if they go on radio shows or TV shows and somebody asks some hard questions, they're going to look like real dunderheads because they did not know the facts, or they took the wrong side of the view on it.
Absolutely. Rita, we ran out of time. I mean, it was an excellent conversation with you, and I've missed visiting with you on the radio. Thank you for coming back on, and we'll look forward to next Thursday. Anything going on quickly with the Tea Party?
Not particularly. We're kind of fighting Common Core. There was a thing yesterday in the legislature that Dorothy Moon went up and was on that board for Common Core to teach the representatives and the senators, the legislatures anyway, about Common Core. She was one of the against Common Core voices. There were 3 and 3, so I'm anxious to see how that went. Anyway, we're still fighting that, hoping that our legislators will get rid of it.
All right. Well, we're going to be having some more segments on that next week, as a matter of fact. Rita Ramsey, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Okay, and thank you, and you get healed up so that you can get back to your normal activity.
I will. Thank you so much. God bless you. Appreciate it.
See you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Oh, about this time of the morning, I get really hungry and starving to death. How about let's stop over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley, and have a Tamalito burrito, a tamale-flavored chicken with rice smothered in jalapeno ranch sauce with cheese and lettuce. Ah, it's great! Along with a Bandito burrito. Or how about a nacho burrito? Oh, it's all good. It's all fantastic. It's all delicious at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Want to know some other good places? How about two locations of burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. They've got a chicken filet sandwich, only $3.99 after 3 p.m. And they got the bread bowl soups, different flavor every day. Oh, I love those. And my goodness sakes, we have the winners of their 30-year anniversary drawing. Josh Adams won the television. Efren Tapia, I hope I said that name right, won the laptop. And Fred Leona, I think, is the winner of the $100 gift card. All of that at great places to eat like burgers, etc. in Burley and Rupert. Let's head on over to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you like it. Oh, my goodness sakes, hot homemade soup every day. I love soup. I just love soup. And, of course, they've got great servers, friendly staff, dedicated staff, pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes. Now, there's a man's meal. I love that. And then, of course, they got the jalapeno burgers with lots of spicy peppers. Look out, world! At Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. It is good. And last but not least, how about the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Ranch Burgers, famous Farmer Brown Burgers, and they're open 11 a.m., closed at 8:30, closed on Sundays, and right now they've got their pumpkin shakes and their eggnog shakes. That is really good. And the mint shakes, you're going to love it. You will, I know. Stop in in and say hello today to the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Gina, we're still working on 10:30.
Okay.
And I just thought I'd let you know that closed-circuit message to Gina. We're still working on 10:30. Okay. We have a birthday gal that's going to have a birthday on Saturday. I won't be on the air, but I'd like to wish her a very happy birthday. Millie Mussman. Millie Mussman is going to be 29 years old.
29?
Yeah, I said the same thing with a question mark. But anyhow, happy birthday to Millie Mussman. Happy birthday on Saturday.
Yes.
Okay, got to take a little break. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Oh, my. Here we go. Last hour. You know, I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of glad it's the last day of my work week. I'm tired. This has been a long week for me. I did all 4 days, and I'm not trying to get an attaboy or a pat on the back, but I didn't think I'd be able to, but I did. I was really glad about that. I'm Zeb Bell, back at Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, along with some of our great, great advertisers, and they include Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and our friends, I love my pillow, at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Good morning, Brent Lee.
Well, Zeb, you get Jeff today. How are you?
It never fails. I give a great big build-up, and then we get the great voice of Jeff. Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing well, Zeb. How are you? Hey, I want to let you know we've got some great specials down here at Lee's, and would like to invite all of your listeners to listen closely, because the specials that we have are through the whole store, Zeb. We've got our mattresses, as you've alluded to, with the pillow.
Yep.
All of our sofa and love seat sets. We've basically emptied out the warehouse. Anything, any loose ends, any strays, any individual pieces, duplicate sofa love sets we have on sale. So many of them, buy the sofa, get the love seat free. We have recliners starting at $199. We basically have emptied any recliner out of the warehouse, any duplicates, dining room sets, and you don't even want to get me started on floor covering.
Oh, boy. Why shouldn't I?
Well, I'll tell you. Let's do it then. We actually just received a large supply, a large shipment of specials on our carpet rolls and on our vinyl rolls. So right now, let's say a customer wants to redo some bedrooms. We've got remnants. If they want to redo a living room, family room, hallway, we've got specials right now where you can come in, good, better, best. Again, we're emptying out the warehouse, so anything that's down there we've brought down, so a customer can purchase it on a discount, Zeb. Good, better, best. You can actually do the 40 square yards, which maybe is several bedrooms, living room and hall, multiple price points with which to choose from, where you can come in and get these discounted prices on stock, or in stock. We have installers available, and you can have this installed potentially in just a couple of days.
Oh, man. And then I'm going to jump in here because I love my pillow.
Well, in conjunction with our Simmons Beauty Rest mattresses, right now, if you come in, we've got all of our beds on sale, half price. These are beds that have the pocketed coil support system, memory foam in addition to that. And in addition to that, for those that purchase these beds, we can tell you all about these memory foam pillows, which are fantastic. They assist in a good night's sleep, and they're really great asset.
Well, really, it sleeps the way that I sleep.
Yeah, that's right. So what it does is it actually conforms to your body, to your neck, to your posture.
Yeah.
These pillows, what they have an open cell memory foam. So what it is they dissipate heat, air displaces, and so it's a more natural position with which you to sleep. So you combine the pillow with the Beauty Rest mattress, and it perfectly aligns your body, your posture for a good night's sleep.
Absolutely. And see, now that I'm all healing up from my surgery and everything, my body is in line. It's in tune with the universe, and it's doing well.
That's great. We're glad to hear that, Zeb.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about before I let you go?
Just want to let everybody know we're at 459 Overland Avenue. We're open from 9 till 6 p.m. on weekdays, 10 10 until 5 this Saturday. The specials do go through this weekend, so we'd like to invite anyone to come in and take advantage of these specials while we have them. Again, these are great specials. We've emptied the warehouse, and you can get that floor covering, upholstery, dining room, mattresses, everything that we have in the store is on sale.
You did a fantastic job. Now, just between you and me, you can whisper this, but where's the boss?
Well, actually, floor covering market is beginning here in a couple of days, and so he's gone out of town for a few days to go down and so that we can fill the warehouses back up.
Oh, there you go. Well, listen, great job. We'll send everybody over to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. And don't forget, go in the door. Zeb said, I love my pillow. Okay, we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Mighty nice people right there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Absolutely. You know what? This really has taken off by storm, and we've been very blessed on this program. We started a segment not too long ago, and it was called Cassia County School Days, and we've got two great sponsors that are bringing that to you, and I want to say thank you to them, and then we'll get right to the crux of the program. But Cassia County School Days, brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley. And don't forget, maybe there's a new little baby in your future, and maybe you'd better get everything ready to go. Like maybe you might need car seats, high chairs, strollers, bouncers, dressers in style, all the colors you want. It's all there for the new baby coming into your family. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful store. They've got everything you could possibly be looking for. A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, and you stop in and see them today. And also our thanks go out to Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. For over 14 years, the Ambulatory Surgery Center of Burley has saved area families thousands and thousands of dollars as they've received outstanding medical care. This is a first-class medical facility. That is the truth. And all you have to do is call 677-8888 for doctors that bring their patients, of course, to the Ambulatory Surgery Center to give them outstanding care and save them money. Ambulatory Surgery Center and Child's World bringing you School Days in Cassia County. Now, with us on the program this morning is a young lady by the name of Amy Despain. And Amy, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Now, tell us a little bit about Amy Despain. Are you a teacher, or what's the deal? Give us your background.
I'm actually the librarian here at White Pine Intermediate School, 4th through 6th. I've been the librarian. This is going on my 7th year.
Okay. Now, most librarians that I've known have been very grumpy, very grouchy, and they wear their glasses down on the end of their nose, and they carry a ruler, and they get real mad, and they snap people on the knuckles. Are you one of those?
I am not. I don't even have glasses, and I even let them visit a little bit in the library.
Okay. Well, now, what's so special about the library that you wanted to come on the program this morning and talk about it?
I wanted to tell you about an exciting new program we have. It's our library circulation program, and it's called Destiny, and it's online, so the students can log in from any computer that has internet access, and they can look at our catalog, they can put books on hold, they can see what books they have out. If they read a book and they really enjoyed it, they can write a short review and post it on our catalog for me to approve, and we can upload it for other students to read what they thought of the book they read.
Holy cow. No, Ken, I'm going to ask you some really naive questions, okay?
Okay.
Now, what about you got a student that, he likes to read, but he doesn't know how he can find out about other books of a certain venue. Let's say that maybe he likes Western stories, or let's say that he likes something to do with science fiction. Let's say that he likes something to do with detective stories and detective and police work and everything. How do they go about finding out a whole plethora of books that they can read?
Well, our program is really exciting because they can actually search by those venues. They can search by mystery, they can search by police stories, they can search by realistic fiction or fantasy. But on the homepage of our new program, I have links where they could click on it and it will say you read a book that you really enjoyed, like, as an example, one of the Hank said Cow Dogs. you could type in Hank the Cow Dog, and then it will bring up a list of books that are really similar to it. Kind of like if you watch a movie, and it's like you do Netflix, it comes up and says, you watch this movie, so you might like these movies. It's really similar. It will say, you read this book, so you might enjoy these books.
Now, I'm not going to be trying to sound negative when I say this, but I want an honest answer on this. Are libraries becoming a thing of the past, or is there a rejuvenated attitude towards libraries and librarians?
You know, I would like to... I personally feel like there will always be a place for libraries. Our have moved to more of a digital age. So you have e-books, which you can download and read from your Kindle or your iPad or something with a reader on it. But you still have a need for the paper book, and some kids prefer those paper books. And when they're doing research projects, I know my children at the high school level will have to have so many sources, and some of those sources are required to be the good old-fashioned open and shut books.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, that's the way I am. I'm not going to ever want to be a member of the technological age. I like to pick up a book. I like to turn the pages. I like to read at my leisure. I don't want to look at a machine. I love to read, and it's going to stay that way.
Me too. I want one that I can fall asleep on top of.
Okay. But here's another question for you as far as kids are concerned today, and adults too. Are we becoming a non-reading society?
You know, for a little while I was actually a little bit discouraged because I'm a really avid reader and I wasn't seeing our children reading as much. And this year, some of our teachers have tried a new thing where the children are having to read certain genres to kind of expose them to different things. And I have seen almost an awakening in our students here at our school. They are loving reading again. I have a lot of kids that come into Open Library and switch their books because they've been exposed to a genre that they've never read before that they love.
Is there a kind of a book, or like the girls back in my days of being a kid when we still circled the wagons at night, the Nancy Drew mysteries for the girls and the Hardy Boys for the boys? I mean, have we gone away from that kind of reading?
Not really. Actually, I still have the Nancy Drew and the Hardy books in my Hardy Boys in my library, and the students still do enjoy reading those. But I do have some Diary of Wimpy Kid books and Dork Diaries, which is the girls' version of those, that the kids are really, really enjoy. They're not necessarily my favorite, but the kids are really enjoy reading them. I can't keep them on my shelf.
Now, what about you? I mean, let's talk about the librarian. I mean, I can remember Mrs. Frazier, the librarian at my high school, and she was crack the whip, look out for the ruler. She was mean, the wicked witch of the West, but she was one of the sweetest ladies I ever met in my life. Do you have to go through and just learn everything about every book in the library?
To some extent, you do. When I first took this position, I took books home all the time and was reading them, so that I was familiar with them, so I could recommend them to students. But now I have students that will read a book that I haven't read before, and I'll have them tell me about it. And then when the next kid comes in and is like, I really want a book that's like this, I can say, you know what? George just read this book, and he said it's about this and this and this, and he really loves it. And it's great. The students themselves can help me recommend books to students.
Have kids changed their reading habits today? I mean, from maybe fiction to maybe science fiction. I mean, what kind of reading habits are the most popular right now?
Well, it has usually been my fiction section mostly, but with this push on Common Core, I'm finding an increased interest in the nonfiction books, the informational text, the books that tell them about real things. And I have probably put away more nonfiction this year than I ever have the whole 6 years put together.
Really?
There's a definite big push towards those nonfiction informational texts. The kids really are enjoying them.
So when you say nonfiction text, I mean, are there certain fields that draw more numbers than others?
Sports will always draw a lot of numbers, especially among the boys. The graphic novels always will draw, but I have kids checking out books about science, about the planets, about different languages, about different holidays, military, different things about the military, both how it operates and the equipment they operate in it.
Mm-hmm.
Cars. Boys always love cars and sports. Those are their two favorite sections. And I've actually, with the genres, I have a lot of kids that checked out poetry books that have come back and checked out more because they found them to be interesting and funny, that they just really hadn't done too much with them before.
What about teachers? I mean, I can just see a teacher bringing the class into the library, and here's a whole bunch of kids that have no clue what to look for or what to do or where the books are they're looking for. Are teachers, do they have to inform themselves a little bit more about how to use the library also?
I would think so. And I think they rely on us some. If they're doing a certain project or a certain concept that they're wanting the kids to check out books, whether it be on the planets or on ecosystems or different things like that, or the reports on the president or different countries or states, they'll come in and they'll just let us know, our class is doing a report on this. Could you please help the kids go towards those sections and help them find books?
Right. What about any special, we're looking at February pretty quick, and then towards the end of the school year, do you have any special incentives for these kids to read during the summertime?
You know, we kind of follow up with the Burley Public Library. The Burley Public Library always has a summer reading program, and so we hand out flyers and tell our students about that reading program that is a way for them to access books during the summer that they can't access when our library is closed.
I see. So tell us once again about this new program called Destiny. I want you to explain it one more time real quick.
It's online, which gives the kids access to our catalog and all the books in our library anywhere they have the internet. It's a great resource. We are just barely kind of still learning it, and it has so many things available to the students. It's not just anymore, it's not just a checking books in and checking books out. It's not just circulation. It's a tool. It's a teaching tool. It has links for web pages that can help them learn more and learn about different things. We're so excited about getting it, and it has just been just awesome.
All right. Well, Amy Despain, I appreciate that. I thank you for coming on the program, and you are not the typical old biddy librarian that's going to get mad at me for whispering with the glasses on the end of your nose and thump me on the hand with the ruler. You sound like a very sweet lady.
Thank you very much.
God bless. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
It was interesting about librarians and I love libraries. I really do. I've always loved libraries. I love to read. And in the summertime, I'm not making this up, my mom once a week would take me to the library, drop me off, and then I'd get about 5 or 6 different books and go home, and whenever I had a chance and I wasn't doing chores out in the barn or something like that for Dad, crawl up underneath a shade tree. Oh, yeah. I loved it. Don't forget, this segment, Cache County School Days, brought to you by A Child's World, 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley, and the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Thanks to both those folks, and tune in again next week for more School Days in Cache County. Oh, by the way, if you're hungry, and everybody is, I just have been handed the menu for the Chadwick, oh my goodness, Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Here's the special for today, Pasta Primavera. Soup or salad, just $5.95. Just $5.95, and it's delicious. The people are great. You're going to love it at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Thursday special, Pasta Primavera. Gina, I got to tell you what's going on here this morning.
What?
I got a problem. I got a real problem.
Okay.
The problem is we have tried nine different people to fill in at the 10:30 hour, and all 9 are busy. We had a cancellation. Our guest back in New York couldn't come on, so I thought, well, there won't be a problem filling in anybody. I've tried people in the legislative session. They're in meetings. I've tried people in Utah. I've tried people in Texas. I've tried people in Oklahoma and New York and California this morning. And to no avail. So next half hour, after our little break here at the bottom of the hour, it's going to be an open forum. Folks, this is called Save Your Neighborhood Talk Show Host, and pick your ideas, and we'll talk about anything you want to. And basically what you're doing is bailing me out of a wreck.
I do have something to add, though. I don't know if you knew about this. There was going to be a planned power outage in the city of Burley for today.
Uh-oh.
Well, they have actually rescheduled that planned power outage for next Wednesday. It is going to be from 4:30 to 5:30, and the areas that are going to be affected are east of Overland to Highland and south of the Snake River to 16th Street. Also, Normal, Hanson, and Albion Avenues from 16th to 21st. So that was scheduled for today. However, they've rescheduled that for next Wednesday. And so if you live in the city of Burley, you have any questions, just call 878-2538.
How long do they keep the power off on those planned outages?
This one they're saying about 15 to 30 minutes.
15 to 30 minutes.
Yes.
And, you know, even though people know ahead of time, even though people can plan for it, at the end of 2 minutes, they're going, well, turn the power back on. What's the matter with you people?
I know. So if you absolutely need power, my suggestion to you is pull out that good old generator and don't open your refrigerators. But it's only going to last like 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops, and I'm assuming they just have to do a quick replacement.
There you go. And that's going to be, now it's changed from today till...
Next Wednesday, the 29th.
Okay.
Yes.
And so here's what we're going to do.
We're winging it.
Pardon me?
We're winging it.
Like a bird falling out of a tree. We're going to be winging it this next half hour because, honestly, every one of my guests could not come on the program, so we're going to ask you folks to call in with anything you want to gripe about, anything you want to talk about. It's going to be an open forum, and gee, come on. Sit there and go, we're going to help Zeb, because his guests have flown the coop, literally. And you know what I had happen today, just a few minutes ago?
What?
A friend of mine that didn't know that I had gone to the hospital recently just called my wife and said, hey, tell Zeb we're going to rope this afternoon. Come on over. I would love to.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
Not for about 3 months.
You know who you need to call? Jack Euler.
Oh, yeah, but I always depend on poor Jack.
Oh, he loves to chat.
I know, but Jack, you know, you don't want to take advantage of a dear friend all the time.
Sure you do.
Oh, okay. We might do that, but we'll also have kind of an open forum for anybody that wants to gripe about anything. I do have one subject next hour that you and I can talk about.
Okay.
And I think you're going to agree with me. We've talked about it one time in the past, and it seems like the government and certain governmental agencies are doing everything they can to stop kids from being on farms, working with animals, being in 4-H, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Oh, you got it.
Okay. We're going to send it back over to our main studios right now, and don't forget, next half hour, it's called Save Zeb's Bacon. Call in. We'll see you in 3.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, my goodness, on a Thursday, and we're on the home stretch. As I said, we had a guest all set from New York City to come on the program this morning, and then that one canceled, and then we've had some other cancellations. And thanks to my lovely bride, we've tried about, I think, 20 people to come on, and they're all busy right now this morning. So your calls are welcome and appreciated, and I swear I just heard the moo of the cow. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb. You know, when I was really young, my dad bought me a Marlin single-shot 22. And then after I got a little bit older, he bought me a 12-gauge when I got into 700.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, are they trying to stop a family member from buying another family member a weapon?
There is a court case right now, and I don't have the information in front of me, so I'm just going to give it to you ad lib, and then, of course, we'll let the facts fall into place. But a gentleman that was a former law enforcement officer wanted to buy, I believe it was his uncle, a gift of a shotgun for a birthday present, and he bought the gun and gave him the shotgun, and all heck broke loose. And there are those that are saying that is illegal. It's taking part of what they call the straw man, illegal purchases of weapons passed on to another person. My goodness sakes, I can remember when I was growing up like you, my uncle bought me 2 or 3 different guns. My dad bought me guns. I had my neighborhood father down the road that had 3 boys. When his boys all went to college, he had an excess of guns. He gave me a gun. How times have changed now to where this poor person might be hauled up on charges of being a straw man in a gun purchase that they deem illegal.
Isn't that something? I mean, you know, when I was going to high school up in Oakley, there wasn't a one of us that didn't have a gun in our window when we pulled up to high school.
Yeah,
I mean, as soon as school was over, we were gone pheasant hunting.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's the way of the world.
But, you know, we've got a society now that is so absolutely tipped upside down. I can remember the same as you. I went to a high school back in southern Wisconsin, and deer hunting is a ritual back in southern Wisconsin. And, boy, the minute that they get out of school, those gun racks were full, and these guys in their pick-em-up trucks were gone. They were out deer hunting. There was nothing about the way it is today. There was no danger. I mean, our society has changed so much, and not for the better in any way, shape, or form. But we've taken responsibility away from our younger people. That's my opinion.
All right, well, maybe we got somebody jump-started. Thanks, Zach.
Hey, buddy, I appreciate your call. Thank you. Yeah, when I heard about this story about this poor gentleman that was trying to just give us a gift, I believe it was a shotgun, to his uncle, and all heck is broke loose because of the fact that the laws now say that that is a straw man purchase, a middleman purchase, which is illegal, etc. Oh, my goodness. What this world is coming to. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I filled up a whole page here to talk about.
Okay.
And top of the list is Obama's head. How come it's not growing?
Let me hold on a second. I'm going to turn around, and I got to grab that head. And that is a good question. Now, look in the back, and you'll notice that there's been a rather lengthy surge in the back of his head to the where he looks like a professor at the University of Maryland that is bald on top with a rather large growth of hair behind the ears and on the neck. Sir, I question whether or not some of the seeds wanted to take part in anything to do with Obama.
That's what I was thinking. They just might not take root there.
Well, and he is there, and he is being watered frequently, to say the least, but he is growing in a funny, kind of an obtuse fashion.
Okay. Well, okay, second on the list is Ryan Smith. Is he going to be on your show again anytime soon?
As a matter of fact, sir, we are working hopefully to get him on the air this next week. And I can say that, and please, I hope you understand, due to the surgery and my being gone and everything, and my booking of all the different segments, I just have not had the chance because I didn't know what my health status was going to be doing the program. And it looks like after this week of being able to do the program every day, we're going to be doing a full line of bookings starting tomorrow, and we're going to try to have him on next week.
Okay, yeah. Could you put his information on your website somewhere?
Yes.
We can get a hold of him?
We will do that. Just bear with me. Give me a couple of days, because starting tomorrow morning, early in the morning, I'm going to be going through everything for the next 3 weeks on booking all these folks, and it's just been a little bit that I didn't know if I was going to be able to be on the program or not. So we'll take care of it, I promise.
Okay.
All right.
And, well, did I give you enough to talk about?
Yep, you did, sir, and God bless you. And as far as Obama's head here, we'll do the best to keep him watered.
Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you much. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, that caller that was talking about the phone purchase. Okay, the gun purchase. By the same token, we shouldn't be able to buy our children cars because they might go out in a car wreck and kill somebody.
Very good point. Very good point. Our society has flipped completely upside down, topsy-turvy with what's right, what's acceptable, our morals and everything else. But I don't know. I'm older than most people, probably. I'm 66 years old. Let's call it what it is. I graduated from high school in 1965. There was no such thing as a gun culture. There was nothing to worry about. Kids that had a gun rack in their pickup with maybe a .22 or a deer rifle. As a matter of fact, on many occasions during recess, the teachers would go down and check out if somebody had a new gun for deer hunting, and they'd all kind of stand around and look at it. I mean, what has happened to America?
Well, and you were taught to respect a gun and the proper handling of a gun and what they were to be used for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, you know, the kids then, they always say, well, things are better now today and everything else. Baloney. I think that we had the Norman Rockwell attitude of America on the cover of the Saturday Evening Post. I would give anything to go back to that. How about you?
Exactly.
All right. God bless you, and thanks.
And kids were allowed to use their imagination, too.
Amen. Amen. And it flourished. Look at all the great things that came out of the minds of the 60s and the 70s. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again, Zebber.
Yes, sir.
I just come from Denny's, and did I get served a good cup of coffee with some lovely, lovely, delicious dessert.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward next week. We're going to be over there for our first lunch bunch at 11:30 on Thursday next week on 30th.
But what I called about is I stopped and got a paper and brought it home, and the first thing that hit me in the face was that airport supposed to be built and all that stuff. Mitten and them are still using false information.
I have not read the article, and I will not be critical of anything that was written until I do read the article, but you know my stand on the airport and the, I think, lack of necessity for having the airport, and they're going to have to go a long way to change my mind.
Well, they keep saying, well, it's all that structure that's being built at the end of the runways. Well, who in the hell's putting up the okay to go ahead and build them structures, like the hospital and them health units and all that stuff? They wasn't there when the airport was doing great.
Well, some of the comments that have been made in regards to the existing airport, I think, were frivolous, and some were also misleading. I know that the past mayor had made some comments about, oh, it's just absolutely unsafe and everything. If it were unsafe, the FAA would have shut it down months and years ago.
That's right. He even brought up about that the family that was killed there on the cross of the air track, tracks.
Yes.
Well, I got a cousin that's a hell of a good pilot. He was in during Korea, and he said flew in here 1,000 times if he flew in once. And he says that guy should never have took off with the tailwind.
Well, it's always easier to blame a structure or a facility than it really is to point the finger at the real culprit of any problem, and that's human error itself.
That's right. That's what he told me. So, let's city council, get your stuff together in there and quit trying to cause us people out here in the country and everything to help pay your bills.
Right now, I'm not going to get into this without reading the story, Al, and I hope you'll understand my hesitancy on that. But with all the things in this economy and everything right now going on, like I said, on this radio program, if they think they're going to find a friend here that's going to be copacetic and leaning towards the new airport, they're not going to find one here, because I think financially it's not a stable idea, and I don't think that it's a necessity.
No, because anywhere you go around here, you're going to have high power lines, buildings, and all that stuff. So just leave it alone and quit building around the airport as it is.
All right. Al, God bless you for your call. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. Calls are welcome, 436. Hey, you folks have been great. These are great topics. Keep shooting away. Draw that gun. I'm not supposed to say that anymore. You can't say draw that gun and shoot. Well, go ahead anyway, and just throw some more topics our way. We'd look forward to it. While I'm waiting for another phone call that I know is going to come in, it's time for a weather update with MichaelRogersWeather.com.
Hi, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got some clouds today. In fact, we've got some clouds going to hang around us through Saturday, a lot of sun on Sunday. Temperatures still remain the same, from just like the last 72 hours. 40s for the high, 20s for the overnight low. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
There you go, MichaelRogersWeather.com. Thank you, Michael. And now some more calls. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Gina, do you have any topics that you'd like to throw at me this morning? She must be on the telephone. That's a good sign. That means that if she's on the phone, we should hear the moo of the cow right about now. The cow died. Okay. There is another push. I saw this story in the paper a couple of weeks ago before I went in for surgery. Another push by the federal government to stop, slow down, or even completely eliminate young children, that's the phrase they use, from working on farms or having livestock on farms that they work with. There are the bleeding heart liberals out there in the world that want to see all kids locked in the house and not doing anything on the farm site. And they're saying that there's an increased risk of injury on farms, even though the overall number of youth hurt in agricultural accidents continues to decline. They don't mention that in a lot of the stories. In Wisconsin, known for its dairy farms, they are saying a major risk comes from livestock, which can kick or step on smaller children. You know, when you read these stories like this about kids growing up on farms, there is a risk of getting out of bed in the morning. There is a risk of walking out to the kitchen table. There is a risk that you'll stub your toe. There is a risk you'll step on a roller skate. There is a risk you'll step on a marble. There is a risk you'll fall. There is a risk once you get to the table you're going to burn yourself with a spillage of hot coffee. There is a risk in everything we do today. But you know something? One of my greatest moments, one of my most treasured moments growing up, was working with livestock on the farm. The family farm. Whether it was our steers, whether it was our horses, whether it was, and I hate them now, I shouldn't say that, that's not nice, but sheep, they just seem to go toop, 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 all over the place. But you know what? I loved every minute of it. Sure, there were accidents, but accidents are a part of life also, and you have to learn from these various accidents. But these people that want to take and eliminate kids from any risk at all, they want to remove the child from the farm. They want to keep the kid playing a Game Boy or whatever in the house. They don't want them near a tractor. They don't want them out possibly doing any irrigating. They definitely don't want them showing a steer or a horse or working with any major farm animals. Wow. What are your thoughts on this? I mean,
I'm sitting here looking at an article actually that was published January 17th, and this is on CNN Opinion, so it's one of their writers' opinions. And obviously this writer has never worked on a farm, apparently not from a farm family, so she just doesn't get it. So she's out there, of course, lobbying, for child labor laws and this, that, and the other. And this is what I have to say to this. If you have never lived in a rural community, like right here, rural Idaho, learning the family craft, the family trade, which is the family farm, is essential for the family survival.
Yeah, but look at the value system of learning how to work.
Amen. It instills within our kids the value of a good, hard work ethic. They're getting up with mom and dad at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Go clean the stalls, Zeb.
They're feeding them. They're out in the fields. They're weeding. They're working, and this teaches our kids a good, solid work ethic.
And by the way,
learn that if they can't work.
Let me ask you this. It seems like these people are so, why, that's against child labor laws. Why, that's terrible that they're putting those children to work. You know something? I think every single person that stands there and says, why, that's against child labor laws. Why, you can't coerce these young people to work. Why, that's against everything that we stand for. This is what's wrong with society today, because these kids have never learned to fend for themselves.
Amen. And I knew you were going to bring up child labor laws, so I actually brought this up. It's from the Government Department of Labor, and this is what they have to say about child labor and agricultural employment. And it says, in farm work, permissible jobs and hours of work vary by age. Parental exemption, minors of any age may be employed by their parents at any time in any occupation on a farm owned or operated by his or her parents. All exemptions to agricultural employment rules are statutory in nature, and the department's regulations reflect laws enacted by the U.S. Congress. They do go on to say that some states differ in, their specific statutes, but according to the Department of Labor, it is completely legal for a minor of any age to work at any job on a farm if their parents are in agreement with that.
Yeah, but there's a caveat there, though, and you know this is true because we've had other stories on this in the past. There are national children's care centers and for rural and agricultural health and safety, which is another word for government saying that the child should not do anything except play on television, little Game Boys and that type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And they want to come into the families. They want to come into the homes. They want to come in and tell the parents that they can't go out and carry that bucket of milk. They can't go out and feed the pigs. They can't go out and work with a 4-H steer. They can't go out and saddle a horse and give dad some help gathering the cows.
They want to. My son would absolutely love to go out and feed the horses if we had some. He loves that stuff. We have 2 phone calls.
All right. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. I grew up on a farm. It didn't hurt me a bit. I was running tractor when I was probably 7, 8 years old, harrowing fields.
And if you learn the proper procedures, now I know that people are going to say, well, that's too young. You know something? I still think and maintain that kids that have been raised on a farm, kids that have been raised with a work ethic, I don't care if they're 7, I don't care if they're 87, they have lived a life that's been beneficial and fruitful and more knowledgeable than somebody that sat in an apartment watching a damn television show.
Right, very true. I mean, it helped me a lot. I didn't like it at the time. There was times that, the city kids that you had friends with, that, hey, we're going to go swimming over here. Well, I got to work. Or we're going to go over there. I got to work.
Yeah.
But we had fun on the farm, too. I mean, we hauled hay by hand when I was young. And we'd work all morning long, and then about 11 o'clock, it would be getting hot and getting close to lunchtime, so we'd go jump in the canal.
Absolutely.
Cool off, come home and eat lunch and take a nap, and then back out there and work till dark.
I hear you, man. I just think the benefits of agriculture and the benefits of agricultural families raising kids far, far exceeds all these safety nuts and twits that want to take it away.
Yeah, and by them taking it away, though, that's my personal opinion, it's another step towards Common Core, towards a dependency, a generation dependency on the government.
I agree with you. I got another call. I'll take it, but I want to say thank you very much.
Great
thank
day.
you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I totally agree. In fact, the gentleman just before me took the words right out of my mouth. There's nothing wrong with children learning how to take care of something besides themselves. The animals are living, breathing things. They rely on us for everything. And I think it teaches children and people compassion. And like the gentleman before me, they're just trying to raise a generation of handouts. Give me, give me, give me. I don't want to work for it. Just give it to me.
I think the word that I would insert, this is just purely my opinion. I like your word of compassion and everything else, but I also like one other word, responsibility.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. My kids had to go out and do chores before they got breakfast, before they went to school.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. One of them.
Absolutely. Caller, God bless you for your call, and take care and keep in touch with us, okay?
Okay.
Thank you much. I'll take some more calls in just a moment. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the best in snow tires, traction tires, tires pinned for studs. Oh, there's not anything on the road that's going to stop them. They got all the different tread designs, everything for your safety. Check it out at all 7 locations. They've got all your tire chains. They've got all the snow wheels, the batteries. Boy, I'll tell you, they've got batteries. And the best in brake service, over 30 years experience, front end alignments, shocks and struts, all for your driving safety. Check it out with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome. Don't forget the Twist family in Paul, John on Pauline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got time for another call. Give us a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'll just say, and Gina, I know that was raised in a rural area. My wife,
daughter.
Yeah, and my wife was raised on a farm. She had chores to do. They had cows to milk. They had all kinds of farm chores that didn't hurt her a bit, and she misses it to this day. Wish that she could still do more. Deanne's work ethic is one that is absolutely unbelievable. She does so much for everybody else, and she never quits. She's like the little ever-ready bunny. She just keeps going and going and going.
Yep. And that's like me, honestly, I learned my work ethic from my papa, who was my stepdad, and he was a logger. And quite often, in the summer times, I would go out and I would be his spotter in the woods. Basically, if anything happened to him, it was my job to run to the CB to make sure that that I could call for help. In the morning, I would get up, I would chop wood, I would build a fire. I had chores that I had to do every single day, and that instills a valuable work ethic that is going to take that child throughout their adulthood.
Well, look at you. I mean, come on, folks. The proof is in the pudding right here. Here's a single parent that's raising a very, very nice young man, Kennedy. You're working hard. You're making sure that your due diligence towards your son and towards your family and towards your future. How dare anybody say that work experience as a youngster hurt you?
It didn't hurt me at all, and and sometimes when it comes down to teaching my son work ethic and getting him to do his chores and stuff, sometimes he kind of balks at that. But I've got a nice little swat on his bum, and that changes his attitude real quick. It's like, dude, you are going to do this. You create the mess, you clean it up. If you want this, you're going to have to do this. It is just called good work ethic, and so if for the kids that are out there working on the family farm, good for them.
Absolutely. Well, Gina, I got to tell you that it's a full. We made it all 4 days. That's got to be a hallelujah.
Oh, that actually deserves 2.
Okay. I didn't think I could, but I did. Thanks to you and everything else. Hallelujah. Thank you for everything. Thanks to all of our guests. We're going to have a full plate next week talking about the legislative session and all the other things that are going on around the globe. And don't forget my newsletter that comes out once a week called Cow Pies and Coffee Cups. If you want to sign up for it, go to myzebbell.com. Check it out. Leave your address. We'll get it mailed to you. It's now going to like over 30,000 different homes. Woo! Yeah, it's really got big. And we'll be back on Monday at 8:06 right here, Zeb at the Ranch on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and then streaming live, zebbell.com. And thank you, Gina, for everything. We'll see you next Monday, folks. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend.